check it out here. I'm gonna walk around. Okay, you can see we got your basic building, very simple structure. We got the roofs established basically. We're gonna finish this up a little bit and trim it down. And while we do that, I'd like to take you to Wasaga Beach, Ontario, Canada. This was a project by Paul Dawkins, another sand sculptor, and a very talented man, really neat guy. Anyway, we went up there and worked on that, and take a look at some of the blockout techniques. Neil Cox worked on this, and he's oh boy, such a neat person and an excellent sculptor. Notice the blockout techniques of the sphinxes that we have side by side, and you'll see it's a basic idea we have here, blocking out chunks of material at a time, and then getting finer and finer and finer detail as we work down and using smaller and smaller tools. So we'll keep working on this. Check that out. Project covered a number of acres and basically was designed around the architectural styles of all over the world, actually. The Temple of Ur from Babylon. Those sphinxes that I mentioned, and the Neil Cox working away there on the face. And here Neil works on Zeus, the mighty Zeus. They sprayed epoxy on the work to help it be more waterproof and weatherproof. And just before opening day, we had a pyramid that had a little bit of a problem, but it was okay. We were able to repair it in time for opening ceremonies. Paul Dawkins is working away with another Southern California sand sculptor, Callie Bradford. Here's a little ram that did, which was really interesting. So I took a couple photographs of him. And throughout the park they had a number of ancient tombs that were represented. Okay, welcome back. Alright, we're continuing to work away here. We cut away for where the chimney is going to flare out and come down. You have the, I guess that's where they put all the wood in the firebox. Firebox, that's what I'm trying to think it is. The firebox down here. And it comes on up. The edge of the chimney's got a perimeter of bricks around it, so that sticks out. Again, this is real, you sort of whittle away. I'm just using a small portion of the tool for that. And just kind of tease it away, pull it down. And keep the tool clean. Got a little bit of rust on here, it's not very helpful. Probably need to go buy a whole new batch of tools here one of these days. And then the same thing applies over here. You want that part that stands out, of course, you need to maintain that and then keep cutting in and reducing your size. From this perspective, I can see whether or not that's flat pretty good. That's really important to get that view. And move around again. I'm going to match this up. Sometimes you'll be working and you'll forget that you need to put something in, but don't worry about it. Just kind of go and have fun. Same thing on the back, just keeping it straight. And I'll get over here, make that little brick that goes around the whole top. Real gentle down here because this is something that could pop off if I push too hard. Kind of get that stuff out of here. See if it looks level. Looks a little flare to the top, so I'll kind of tease a little bit more. Sometimes in the teasing process things fall down and break, but that's okay. It's okay. A lot of it can be repaired really easily. There's a tendency when you're starting out and doing architecture to make the roofs fairly flat. When they look, a lot of times it's better to have them steeper. This is kind of a suburbia mini house. So the roofs are pretty flat, but that's okay. Okay. You can hollow out the tops. Going down in is kind of more of a pain in a way because the sand has to be pulled out. So it's a little bit easier just to do work that the sand falls away freely. And when you do more of the standard castle style, put little flues on the top, come up. I suppose we could put some on here. See if we have time, we'll put in some flues on this sucker. And you blow the sand off, beware. It might blow right back in your face. And I'm speaking from experience. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. Remember, our main goal here is to have some fun. That's the main objective here today. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just sort of go at it. I'm just freehanding it here, but you can use a straight edge if you want, or a level. Again, don't be shy, just carve that sucker away. I mean, you can do this pound up in a matter of minutes, so you can get another one ready to go in no time. When you get to the edges, you need to be real gentle because those are the parts that can fall off. Now, why does that not fall down? Well, I don't know the exact mechanics of it, other than I know that the particles are irregular in shape and they kind of interlock. And you can have sands where the particles are very round in shape. When they're round, they don't stick together nearly as well. Volcanic rock sometimes is very big and it just doesn't hold together as well. And you have to adjust every new different type of sand that you use. You need to adjust your technique a little bit. All this is going bye-bye. The only parts we have to worry about are the parts that are going to be standing out, and we have to establish those so we've got them to work with. It's looking like the windowsill is going to be farther out than we need it, which is great. So what we'll do, we'll just continue to carve it down, pulling that away. If I went straight through it, that would cause a wedge and push this down, and that would be a problem because it'll weaken it for sure and possibly cause it to fall off. Sometimes you can use these big spreaders as wonderful smoothing out, leveling tools to really give yourself a nice, even, flat surface. These things are great for architecture. They are just so fast. Okay, there's our windowsill hanging out over in space, defying all the laws of common sense. Are there any laws of common sense? Okay, that's the edge of the building. Okay. Now it's a little bit bigger than I want, so I'm going to trim it back. Gently. Okay. Get over here to see if it's straight. Yeah, it's pretty straight. Okay, now you can see we begin to establish the roof, where the roof's going to go. We've got the chimney going over here. We've got the sills for the windows. And now we'll start to establish where we want our door to go. Put the door there. Get the window over there. You can begin to see how it's taking shape. Now we'll go ahead and carve in to establish where the door is going to go. And just carve it in. Simple as that. Okay, we're going to continue to finish up this little building here and maybe throw in a little shingles and some bricks on the chimneys there for us. While we're doing that, I invite you to take a little trip to Japan and take a look at some of the jobs that I was really lucky enough to be a part of last year. So we'll keep working on this and we'll see you in a few.
The first project I'd like to share with you is in Nagoya, Japan. It was for the International Design Exposition. And we had a center castle surrounded by little vignettes of Japanese children's stories. And one of them had to do with a rabbit and sharks, and a monkey and crabs. All sand. And the fisherman and the sea turtle. And the other project was for the city of Kamiishi, the northeast coast of Japan. Beautiful beaches. A little American food for us. And our daily ice cream cone. A little walk from our hotel room out to the site. You see the formwork going on here. We're already sculpting down from the top. Got some of the buildings roughed out. Here we have Greg Glenn on the top castle, putting flues on a little chimney there. And all the forms laid out. Kevin Crawford showing him how it's done a little bit there. And Donnie DeWeese and Gene Gross working away. Brad Gohl on the left there, working on some buildings. And some volunteers. We're working with about 5,000 tons of sand. We have about 10 professionals and about 300 volunteers on this project. It took us about 18 days to complete it. It was over 31 feet tall. Project was one of the most beautiful and high quality jobs we've ever done. ceremonies of the project. Really was a beautiful place to build a sandcastle.
Okay, we're continuing to work away here and working on the window now. Same thing as that we did over in the door. Keep going in and dropping back, resetting in. Trying to remember exactly what you've got to put in next. Got to put in the panels of the window here. I'm just kind of freehanded, and that's somewhat inaccurate, but let's see what I can do here. This at a project for the San Diego Wild Animal Park, which you should see later, I think. These little dudes could almost be called ripcords, as when you pull them, the whole side may fall out. So these are just sort of like Mother Nature's little frou-frou. Now we've got the house basically roughed out, basically carved to whatever extent, but you can spend as much time as you want on these things. So now we have to do the yard a little bit. This is where I love these big tools. You can just move so much sand so fast. Let's see, we'll make some stairs over here somewhere. And the stairs have a rock in them. Make it turn a corner. Fill in that little flat spot there. Now, let's see if the sand is in good enough shape to do some stairs. Patty cake that right in there. Again, you determine the quality level that you want to have. You can make it fancy schmancy, with incredible detail, and use smaller and smaller instruments. Or you can do more just like what we did here today on this little guy. Stairs are kind of fun. You can use a 3/4 and measure to make each step the same height. And then measure out. That'll be the same. You gotta pull it away. And a little piece gets chipped. You just kind of push it back and pat it down. And carve that along here. Okay, well here you have your basic house. Very simple in design. Took us about an hour to make. You could spend as much time or as little time as you wanted. This is relatively rough, but it gives you an idea, which is what I wanted to do, of how sculpting is done. It's just basically roughed out, and you keep working your way in. You always have to keep in mind the farthest out areas that you want to have with your work, whether it's a building, or it's an animal, or it's a person. The nose, of course, being soft sculpture, if that was your subject, you'd want to have that there, so you'd begin to work into the negative spots there. All we used was the spreader, a level, 1.5 inch, and 3/4 inch. So with very simple tools, you can make some neat things. Let's take a look at what we did last weekend when we got a bunch of our friends and family together and put together a castle. So let's take a look at that.